Yo, what's up, people? It's your boy, I'm Christodom1, and I am back with another video. Do a quick video on this article on Bleacher Report. You can find it on Bleacher Report as well as Yahoo.com Sports. Charles Barkley was pretty much commenting on the recent announcement that the NBA is going to pretty much eliminate back-to-back games. Okay, now over the course of the past few years, a lot of players as well as certain coaches commented on having back-to-back games. All right, now Charles Barkley responded with the NBA pretty much listened to these types of people, and he labeled mostly the players as crybabies. So he labeled them as crybabies, saying, "Oh, poor babies, you're getting what you want." Basically, Charles Barkley comes from an era where back-to-back games were the norm. Hell, in some cases, back-to-back-to-back games were, a lot of players in his generation played those types of games, and I can understand both sides of the equation. However, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Charles Barkley, Akeem Olajuwon, Isaiah Thomas, the list goes on and on and on. Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, they all played back-to-back games, and it seems like it didn't hinder their careers, okay? Even Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, in essence, in basketball, the more games you play, the more fluidly your body is, and it pretty much adapts to the games. And if you're not playing a certain amount of games, competitive games, it will sometimes have negative effects later on. You're not, it seems like when you're playing back-to-back games, to me, it kind of refreshes your body, okay, versus rest or playing or practicing. Because let's just face facts, you can't duplicate an actual game by practicing or resting a lot. Too much rest is a bad thing, and I think this is going to have a reverse effect in that. You're going to have certain players that's more free time for them to rest their bodies and to get involved into other things. I'm not saying players should not have lives. Of course, players should go out to the clubs or go to the bar or whatever, or get their adult entertainment on. Okay, they're just as human as the rest of us. But when you're paying these players X amount of dollars, I understand owners may look at this and say, well, then this should prolong their career, and I can get more bang for the buck, in their contract. But then you're going to have other players that are going to use this as a disadvantage, and some players are going to be out of shape. Even with the old format, you had a lot of players out of shape and not practicing, not working out, and not playing as many games. You might have some that may get in some legal troubles, and it just takes a while for those players in those type of situations to get back to the swing of things. So this can be pro versus con. I understand LeBron James. A lot of people want to use LeBron James' name because he always commented on all the back-to-back games, thinking that playing back-to-back is sort of, hindering his progression. Okay, and then you have coaches like Popovich. He always rest his players. Okay, so Charles Barkley calling a lot of these players crybabies, whiners. I understand where he's coming from, but Charles, this is a new era. Okay, I'm not condoning it, because I used to watch Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, all of those players. Grant Hill, even though he stopped playing basketball, I believe it's like 6 or 7 years ago, still, that's a recent player that a lot of players today could identify with. The legend, the greatest of all time, Michael Jordan. There are people out there in the world today who know who Michael Jordan is, okay? So it didn't hinder their careers, and it seems like they had a very promising career, but I feel like, you know, eliminating the back-to-backs, I feel like it's going to have more cons than pros, okay? Even though rest can be the biggest pro into this, and prolonging your career is also a good pro. But at the end of the day, how are these players going to utilize this extra time? And that's where you're going to have problems later on down the road. You know, some players, let's just face it, they'll practice and work out because they're playing up to their contract. With more extra time, they're not going to practice and work out those times. Okay, which means that they're going to be involved into other things. I understand where Charles Barkley's coming from. I wouldn't necessarily call them crybabies, but you know, it's just a new day, it's a new league, and a lot of these players feel like eliminating the back-to-backs will have an advantage towards a certain team. We will never know, but you know, for the past 5 years, they sort of been doing this anyway, okay? A lot of teams have been sitting down their star players on a lot of games where they're not injured, okay? And that's what the common goal for this. So now coaches can't have an excuse to rest players, okay? Which they're still going to rest players, all right? And I feel like when the season prolongs, a lot of fans are going to complain about that. A lot of people who buy tickets are going to complain about that. A lot of people who buy these NBA packages and DirecTV, Comcast, you listen to names go on and on and on, they're going to complain about this, and it's going to hurt their bottom line, and their bottom line is making money, okay? Fans are going to say, well, what's the purpose of buying these NBA packages when I don't get a chance to see my favorite player? Or buying tickets to a home game thinking you're going to, a visiting game, thinking that you're going to see LeBron James when he comes to your town, and comes to find out he's resting. He's not injured, he's just simply resting. A lot of people are going to take offense to this, and they're going to say, well, they're still resting. Even with this current state, this thing that they just implemented, they're still resting. So I feel like this is going to be something that going to reoccur all through the NBA season, about they got their extra rest and they're still resting. A lot of players are going to reap the benefits and rewards of this new policy, sort of say. And I feel like like I said, back in their era, it seemed like it wasn't a real huge problem to play back-to-back games. It was sort of like the norm. And if you have played basketball, it really doesn't matter if you played it on a professional level or an amateur level. To me, the more competitive play you give to your body, the better your body is going to ultimately be. Okay, you know, at the end of the day, Father Time hasn't lost to anyone, and the older you get, I can understand, well, you can't do what you was doing when you was 21, 22, and 25, but a lot of these players are in their 30s, they're in their mid-30s, you know, they may not be athletic, but they can, you know, still play the game of basketball, okay, and that's what's going to pretty much happen. This is going to be a complaint later on down the road. But guys, tell me what you think. Rate, comment, subscribe, please. Notification squad in the building. Hit that notification icon, that notification bell, so it'll let you know when my next video or live stream is going down. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One, and I am out, y'all.